Cuckoo.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Cheza. So in this video, we're going to be creating our very first level. Very excited for this video. I hope you are too. Without further ado, let's get started. Go ahead and create a node 2D and we're going to call it level. Next, we want to add a tile map and go into cell, and our cell size here is 64 by 64. We want it to be 48 by 48. Then in the assets directory here, we want to have a new folder, and we're going to name this folder tilesets. And then our Zawadi underscore tileset image, we want to make sure that it's in this tileset folder. So go ahead and drag Zawadi underscore tileset.tres into our folder like that. So there it is. Next, what you want to do is drag it into the tileset property here. And as you drag it, make sure you also have the corresponding image, Zawadi assets.png, in the same folder. There we go. So we want to duplicate our tile map here twice. So select it and Control D. Our first tile map, we want to call it world. Second one, we want to call it objects. And then the third one, we want to call it danger. These tile maps will be corresponding to the layer that we created in our project previously. The next thing that we want to do with our level is add an instance of player. So on this icon that looks like a chain link, and it says instance child scene. So we're going to add a money. Say open. Also, as a child of level, we want to add a child node, and it's a position 2D, and we want to call it a money spawn. To spawn is where she's going to appear when the level is instantiated, or when the level is started by our engine. So before we do anything else, we want to save our level. So go ahead and save the scene. Remember to save it in the scenes folder, and we're just going to save it as level.tscn. Next thing we want to do is attach a script to our level, and remember to save it in our scripts folder. Click open and click create. And in our ready function here, we want to reference Amani. So remember to reference a node in the scene tree, use a dollar sign. So dollar Amani dot start. So dollar Amani spawn dot position. But we can go ahead and delete this other bit of code for now. And there's one more tile map that we need to add here. So just Control D for objects, and we'll rename this to pickups like that. And in our script, we want to add this line of code on ready variable pickups equals pickups, and then in our onReady function we just want to say pickups should remain hidden. So I have just reloaded my project so that my zawadi.assets.png can be loaded into the project, and now you see the corresponding images in our tileset resource are being displayed there. And with that, we are now ready to start designing our level. So what you're going to do is go to scene and select new inherited scene, and we're going to select level.tsn. So we say open, and this one we're going to save it as level01.tsn. So in our level 01 scene, we can now start designing our level. Just zoom out a bit. For our Amani spawn point, we want to move it somewhere there, and then now go into world. All you need to do is pick a tile, and before I do that, I think I need to make all these others visible. So tile left top, which is the tile that appears on the top left side of a platform. Then tile top mid, can go ahead and make a long platform like that. Then tile right top, this one here, can be on the edge like that. Then tile bottom left, you can have it here and here. Then the middle tile, you just click and drag, or you can click in each individual grid spot. Then tile right bottom, and I think I made a mistake with the tile right bottom, but I'm going to correct that. Just want to design a few platforms here and then test out our level. So with that, we can test out our level. Just go ahead and click on the place scene icon here. So now we can see that our level has been loaded. Whatever we've created here has been loaded, and Amani is able to run on the platforms here and also jump from one platform to the other. I think we need to adjust the values for jump and gravity and jump speed and all that. But the important thing to note is that our level is now functional. Oops, and she fell. So anyway, regardless of my careless nature with Amani, I was saying the important thing to note is that we can now go ahead with designing our levels. So the only thing is that it's the wrong image for our bottom tile here, so you can see some grass appearing inside the ground. I'll need to rectify that in my tileset resource file, but in the final files that you guys have downloaded, all this is sorted out. In our Amani scene, remember we're setting the values for run speed, for jump speed, and for gravity, and so on and so forth. So you can play around with these figures here as you go ahead and design your level and see what works best. Try just to design a short level with just a few jumps. Level design is a whole discipline on its own. For now, especially if you're a beginner, just try and design a short level. One last thing I forgot to mention: if you feel like you've made a mistake, let's say you've placed some shells where you wouldn't want to place them, how to undo that is to right click. When you're placing them using the left mouse button, to erase them you press the right mouse button, and you can also press and drag and they'll be removed. So after doing a bit of level design, the next thing you want to do is now add on to a script for the level. So going to script at the top here, we're in level.gd. The first thing we want to do is add a signal, and we're going to call it score changed, and also a variable for our score. The next thing we're going to do is go into our ready function. Here we're going to declare that the score is equals 0, so that each time the level starts, the score is 0. Then we're going to say emit signal, score changed, and score. From there, the next thing that we want to do is take care of our collectibles or our pickup. At the top here, we want to add this line of code, variable collectible equals preload, then resources, scenes, to go into our scenes folder here, and then in scenes we want to reference our shells scene here, shells.tscn. From there, what we want to do is add a function for spawning our pickups. So we're going to have function spawn pickups, and basically here is our function for spawning pickups. So what this function does is scan this layer that we created for pickups, and depending on the cell where we've said that a shell should be spawned, it's going to spawn a shell on that particular cell. So the next thing we need to do is we want to call this function in our ready function. From there, the next thing that we want to do is have a function for when Amani has collected a shell. Function on collectible pickup, we want to add the score to increment the score by 1 and emit signal for score changed. And then finally, we want to add one more function for when Amani dies. For now, it's just going to be an empty function. We just want to make sure that when Amani picks up the shells disappear. So for me, I'm just going to add a few shells in the game. So from here, the next thing we want to do is create a function for spawning our shells in the level. We want to come here and say function spawn pickups and press enter. So in our level, wherever we've placed our shells in the level here, we want to scan all these grid locations here. And then what we're going to do is wherever we've placed a shell, our code is going to take the coordinates of that shell and actually now spawn the shell right there in the level. So for cell in pickups, and pickups is this pickups here, which is referencing our tile map for pickups, pickups.get cell used. And at the beginning here, we need to indent our code for cell in pickups, and pickups is our reference here for our pickups layer up here. For cell in pickups.get used cells, we create a new variable here. We call it variable c, and variable c is equals to collectible.instance. And then we're going to create another variable called position. Variable pos equals pickups.map to world, and in here we're going to pass a value of cell. So below that you want to say c.init, and here you just want to pass the position of our shell. So we say pickups dot cell size, and then we're going to divide that by 2. Then below that we want to say add child c, and then below this now we want to connect a signal, and we want to say c.connect signal pickup self and on collectible underscore pickup, and then below that now we want to create a function for on collectible pickup. So function on collectible pickup, what we want to do is emit a signal, and the signal is going to be pickup, and the signal is going to be score changed, and we pass another value for the score, and then we want to increment our score by, let's say, 10. Lastly, what we want to do is we want to call our function here for spawn pickups in our ready function. So just go ahead and say spawn pickups. So we are ready to test out our level, and now we should see at least our pickups start to appear where you've placed them. Go ahead and click on level. The next thing you want to do is click on this icon right here that says place in. So as you can see here, my shells are being rendered very well, exactly where I've placed them from our level. Let's just see if they disappear once Amani picks them. Yes. So the script is working perfectly. So that's about it for this video. Don't forget to like the video. Also, if you'd like to see more content coming up, please subscribe. And lastly, if you have friends that you think will enjoy learning about game development, please share this video with them. I'd be really appreciative if this tutorial got to as many aspiring developers as possible. Thank you, and see you in the next one.